Well, hello my darlings, and welcome back to another episode of DIY 101 with yours truly, moi. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the different types of foams and possible uses for each one. Stay tuned. So here we have our 4 basic types of foam that we use in the crafting industry. Now, for the purpose of this video, we're just going to call this foam. Of course, you know, we always, or I should say rather not always, but we often use the word styrofoam when we're talking about foam. However, styrofoam is actually the name of the brand, just like Floracraft, for those of you who are familiar with the Floracraft brand. So it's not necessarily these things that we use, but rather the names of the brand. So for the purpose of our video today, and not giving credence to any of the brands we just discussed, we are going to call these simply foam. Now, the first one that I have here all the way on my left hand is the one that we often use, that we can sometimes get for $1. And this is your dry foam brick. Now, this is used mostly for placing your silk flowers in to hold your flower arrangement, or sometimes if you have been crafting with me for any length of time, you would see that I would use this as my foundation. Now, this foam brick is very sturdy. There's not much weight to it. However, it is very sturdy. The one caveat or the one issue I have with this foam, however, is it is very brittle. And as you can see, just with 2 swipes of my hand, it comes off on my fingers. This is why I say to you, if you are going to be using this foam, as I have, in making your products, especially for an event, that whatever is going to be, whichever side is going to be the bottom of your project, please be sure to cover it in black foam to help ameliorate that problem of having this foam come off on your fine linens or on your guests if they were to touch it or walk by it. So, your dry styrofoam brick. Now, the opposite to that, of course, would be your wet, and I just said styrofoam, dry foam. The opposite to that would be, of course, your wet foam, which I don't use a lot on my channel because I do not use fresh flowers. Now, this foam is the foam that you place in water. It acts as a sponge. It sucks the water up, and you are able then to place your floral arrangements in this foam and keep your flowers fresh for as long as the foam stays wet, or rather for as long as the life of the flower, the cut flowers. Now, if you can see here, I'm just gonna press my finger in a little bit. This foam is brittle. Do you see how it left my thumb print right there? But if you look, there is nothing on my hand. So whereas this is brittle also, it is not as brittle as your dry foam, and the use of this is to soak up water so that you can place your fresh flowers in it. Thirdly, here we have what is called either smooth foam or corrugated foam, which is made up of tiny little pieces of foam balls pressed together. If any of you have ever gone into a craft store and you have seen that little baggie with the little balled foam pieces in it, this is what these are made of. Sometimes you can get it where you can actually see the little foam balls in there, pressed down in there. That's a very good picture. Or you would get this ball and it would be smooth, okay? These you would use to cover possibly with rhinestones, or you could use to paint them, or you could use to glue things onto them. However, these will not be very conducive for placing flowers in because of the smoothness, and not only the smoothness, now I'm really pushing down on this, or the density of this foam itself. So it will take some pressing to get your greening pins or anything else for that matter in here. All right. And then last but not least, you have the big daddy of them all, which would be, and I hope you can hear that, the mic picks it up, okay? The foam that I like the best, I favor when I am using this to make my foundation. Now, this foam is not as dense as your smooth foam. However, it is not as brittle as your dry foam, nor is it as light. This has a little weight to it, which is why I prefer to use it for my foundation. And this as well is also good for placing, I'm trying to get a greening pin, for placing your flowers in, okay? It holds things very well, but this is also good for gluing things onto it. As you have seen, if you have been with me for any while, I like to place mirrors on this to make my aisle runners or my centerpieces, or I like to cover this with flowers as well to make a stunning centerpiece. And so here you have all 4 of the foams that you have seen on my channel, possibly even on other channels, and explained their uses, or rather I should say the uses for them. Well, there you have it, the wonderful uses of foam. If perhaps, my darling, there was one use that I failed to mention today, please be sure to leave me a comment in the comment section below, of course, for the good of the group. I would greatly appreciate it. And to the rest of you, my darlings, my loves, until the next time we meet, I say to you, please, 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 take care of yourselves for me. Know that I love you all. Mwah, mwah. Bye now.